You did something most people never actually do. You saved $20,000. Not talked about it, not made a vision board, you actually did it. And there's this quiet moment. Maybe you had it last week, maybe last month, where you opened your bank app, saw that number, and felt genuinely proud for about 30 seconds. Then the doubt crept in. Should I invest this? Is it safe where it is? What if I pick the wrong thing and lose it all? That feeling isn't weakness. It's actually a sign that you take this seriously. But here's what I want you to understand before we go any further. The fact that you're asking these questions means you're already ahead of most people. You don't need to make a dramatic move. You need a clear plan. So today, let's talk through exactly what to do and what not to do when you're sitting on $20,000 for the first time. Let's put a face to this. You're in Dallas. You're making around $82,000 a year, solid corporate job, maybe tech adjacent, stable income, good benefits. You've been disciplined. You cut back on eating out, you delayed buying a new car, you said no to a few trips. And now that money is sitting in your Chase checking account. Not a savings account, your checking account. And Chase is paying you essentially nothing on it. We're talking somewhere around 0.01% interest. On $20,000, that's about $2 a year. Meanwhile, inflation is quietly doing its thing, eroding your purchasing power whether you notice it or not. So the very first thing I want you to do before anything else is move that money somewhere it's actually working for you. A high-yield savings account is the simplest, most overlooked tool for someone in your exact position. As of early 2025, many online banks, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Ally, SoFi, American Express Savings, are offering rates in the 4 to 5% range. That same $20,000 sitting in a high-yield account at 4.5% earns you roughly $900 over the course of a year. Same money, zero additional risk, just a smarter parking spot. These accounts are FDIC insured up to $250,000. Your money is just as safe as it is at Chase. It's just actually earning something. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Rates could drop. Yes, they can. They move with the federal funds rates and nobody can predict exactly where they go. But even if rates dip, you'll almost certainly still outperform what a traditional checking account pays you. This isn't a long-term investment strategy. It's just the right holding place for money you want accessible and protected. Opening one of these accounts takes about 10 minutes. That's step one. But here's where it gets more interesting and where most people in your situation get stuck. You now have to decide, what is this $20,000 for? That question matters more than any interest rate or investment return, because the right move depends entirely on what role this money plays in your life. Let's break it down simply. Your first priority, if you haven't done this already, is making sure you have a real emergency fund. The standard guidance is 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you're in Dallas making $82,000 a year, your monthly take-home after taxes is probably around $5,200 to $5,400. 3 months of essential expenses, rent, utilities, food, car payment, insurance, might run you $7,000 to $9,000 depending on your situation. If your full $20,000 is all you have, you want to set aside that emergency cushion first and keep it in that high-yield savings account, separate from your spending money. Why separate? Because mixing your emergency fund with your regular savings is how people accidentally spend it. Give it a different account, label it mentally, and if your bank allows it, literally, as untouchable unless the roof caves in. Once your emergency fund is solid, now we talk about the rest. Let's say you've got $9,000 set aside as your cushion. That still leaves $11,000 to think about. Here's a question worth sitting with. Do you have any high-interest debt? Credit cards charging 20%, 24%, 26% interest. Because I've talked to people who want to invest their savings while quietly carrying $6,000 on a credit card at 22%. There is no investment that reliably returns 22% a year. Paying off that debt is the highest guaranteed return you can get. If that's your situation, handle it before you put a dollar into the market. Assuming your emergency fund is covered and you're not carrying high-interest debt, now we can talk about investing. And I want to be straightforward here. Investing involves real risk. Markets go up and they go down. Nobody, no advisor, no algorithm, no YouTube channel can tell you with certainty what returns you'll see. What I can tell you is this. If you have a long time horizon, 10, 20, 30 years, sitting entirely in cash is its own kind of risk. Inflation slowly reduces what your money can buy. For someone in their early 30s, time is one of your most powerful financial assets. The most common starting point for first-time investors in your income range is a tax-advantaged retirement account. If your employer offers a 401k with a match and you're not maximizing that match, that's the first place to look. A 100% match on even 3% of your salary is an immediate guaranteed return that no market investment can replicate. If you're already covered there, then a Roth IRA is worth serious consideration at your income level. In 2025, you can contribute up to $7,000 per year. You invest after-tax dollars now, and your growth comes out tax-free in retirement. For someone earning $82,000, you're likely within the income limit to contribute fully. That's not a trivial benefit over 30 years of compound growth. Now, for what you actually put inside that Roth IRA or brokerage account if you open one, most financial professionals who work with everyday investors point towards low-cost index funds as the baseline approach for people who aren't trying to pick individual stocks. Something like a total market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund gives you broad exposure to hundreds of companies at a very low cost. You're not betting on one company, you're betting on the broader market over time. There's no guarantee of returns. I want to be clear about that. But historically, diversified index investing over long periods has been one of the more reliable wealth-building tools available to regular people. This is general information, not personalized financial advice. Your specific situation, goals, and risk tolerance matter. Speaking with a licensed financial advisor is always a good idea when you're making these decisions. Let me bring this back to you, standing in Dallas with that $20,000. Here's a simple framework to think about. Move it out of the checking account first. That step alone puts you miles ahead of where you are now. Then ask yourself, is my emergency fund real and separate? If not, build it. Then ask, do I have any high-interest debt? If yes, prioritize paying it down. Then ask, am I using my employer's 401k match? If not, start there. Then, would a Roth IRA make sense for my situation this year? And finally, whatever is left, how long can I leave it untouched? That answer shapes everything. You built $20,000 through patience and consistency. The next chapter isn't about making one perfect move. It's about making a series of smart, boring, unsexy decisions consistently over time. The people who quietly build real wealth aren't doing something magical. They're doing the unsexy stuff without getting distracted by the noise. You've already proven you can do hard things. The plan from here is actually simpler than you're probably making it in your head. If this gave you some clarity, consider sharing it with someone else who's in a similar spot, that friend who just told you they finally hit their savings goal. And if there's a specific next step you'd like me to walk through in more detail, like how to actually open a Roth IRA or how to evaluate index funds, let me know in the comments. I read them. Take care of your money. It'll take care of you.